All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Mindgasms Quickie. All right. So, I wanted to talk about this really popularly discussed philosophical idea about kind of the war between discipline and pleasure. And I've noticed lately, and just in thinking about and viewing public intellectuals and reading about it and whatnot, it's made me think about my own views. And I think I kind of was already at this point personally, but I think it's interesting that there basically are prophets who are advocates for discipline and then other prophets who are advocates for pleasure. It seems like the advocates for discipline are a lot more popular. And I personally have come to the place where I like aspects of both. I really appreciate people who are advocating for discipline, and I also really appreciate people who are advocating for pleasure. But I think it's really interesting that people get ideological and tribal about this like they do with literally everything else. And like I said, I like both different ideologies or tribes about these things, but they're kind of like against each other and demonize the other one as if discipline is the only one thing that can improve your life, or pleasure is the only one thing that can improve your life. But really, realistically, if you think about it, everyone needs both. You need discipline, but you also need pleasure. You should have some discipline, but you can have too much discipline and not enough pleasure. You need some pleasure, but you can have too much pleasure and not enough discipline. And it's, to me, it's kind of like a balancing act between both. Like, you should have some discipline in your life and do difficult things and exercise and pick goals that you want to achieve and achieve those goals. But then also don't become a fucking workaholic and not relax and enjoy life enough. I personally have fallen into this popular trap in our culture of workaholism, and I have literally had to start constantly reminding myself to enjoy life and relax a little bit more and work a little bit less. So it's good to achieve goals, but you should also relax and enjoy life. Spend all day achieving goals, but then also get laid, drink, party if you want to, relax and watch stuff on Netflix, play video games. That's all great stuff. So I think it's more rewarding when you have a balance between these two extremes of discipline and pleasure. Like, I'm sure I'm not alone at all in feeling that, and I've talked with many of my friends about this recently too, like David Tortos, who I just talked to on my podcast recently. You appreciate pleasure and relaxation and just sitting and chilling and watching stuff on Netflix more if you've worked hard all day long on, school or job or anything that you're doing that requires work. You appreciate relaxation more if you don't just relax all day long and, just enjoy life and don't have any discipline. It can make you feel unfulfilled in life if you just relax, in the same kind of way that if you just work and you never relax, then you can start to hate life, rather, because you never fucking just relax and appreciate life. So I think it's really interesting, and like I said, useful to listen to people on both opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, there are people who I appreciate their views on things like responsibility and discipline and stuff like that. Like, you can go all the way back to the Stoics in ancient philosophy, like Seneca and Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. And, there are popular proponents of that, like Tim Ferriss, for example. And then I also talked to my friend Bill Ferriolo about this recently, who's a philosophy professor and teaches people about Stoicism. And then there are also people like Jocko, for example, who advocate for that military discipline. And I think that's really important too. Like, working out and working hard and achieving goals, And this is one of the main aspects of Stoicism that I personally appreciate too. And then there are also people who I think importantly advocate for just pleasure and enjoying life. People who I really appreciate actually a little bit even more than people like Jocko, for example, or maybe even a lot more on some particular issues, like people like Joe Rogan and Thaddeus Russell, for example. Like Joe Rogan works really hard and then he also enjoys life and wants people to enjoy life. Same is true of Thaddeus Russell too. He works hard at achieving goals and then he advocates for pleasure. And one thing I really appreciate about Thaddeus Russell's book, for example, Renegade History of the United States, is he's intellectually shitting all over Puritans throughout the book. And I love that because I like some kind of more conservative values like responsibility and discipline, but I also fucking hate Puritans because they discourage people from doing, they historically have done things like discourage people from dancing and doing drugs and having fun and having sex. And these are all human things that we all need to do. Have fun and have sex. You don't need to do drugs or dance if you don't want to, but you should do what brings you enjoyment in life and also accomplish goals. And I also think that everyone needs both discipline and pleasure because at some most people, let's say, at one time or another in life, maybe we need some more discipline because we have too much pleasure, or maybe we need some more pleasure because we have too much discipline. Like, I'm sure it's a common problem that at other times in your life you're less ambitious and more lazy and you need more discipline and structure in your life, and then at another point in your life you could conceivably have too much structure and too much discipline, and you need to have a little more pleasure and relaxation and enjoy life more. I know I've had this experience too, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this experience. And obviously, there are going to be people who are naturally inherently less ambitious and more lazy and less disciplined and structured. And they need some more responsibility and discipline in their life. And then there are also going to be other people who are naturally more ambitious and obsessive and productive, and they need some more discipline and pleasure in their lives, and they need friends around them to get them to just fucking relax and have a drink and go get laid or something like that. So anyway, that's my whole ramble there about discipline and pleasure and how I think both are important in pretty much everyone's lives. And there should be a constant balancing act, which we're all trying to achieve. And I know I always have a lot of difficulty finding that balance, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that too. So I would say find a balance between discipline and pleasure in life. Achieve goals that are important to you, and then also understand the importance of just relaxing and taking it fucking easy and enjoying life. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed my little soapbox speech here on difference in pleasure, discipline and pleasure, rather, not difference in pleasure. But yeah, so anyway, as I always say at the end of my videos here, thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you everyone who has subscribed to my channel and to everyone who's contributed to me on Patreon. Thank you so fucking much to anyone else who subscribes to my channel or who likes this video and or who contributes to me on Patreon. I really fucking appreciate it, and that all really means a lot to me, and it helps me grow my channel here a little more, so I really appreciate that. And as I always say, keep being the tiny beam of light that shines through the almost impenetrable darkness in the universe. I love you all. And most importantly, always remember this: the funk cures all. All right. Keep having mindgasms, everyone. And adios until next time.